Welcome to another stream right here on twitch.tv/Blessing Jr. First of all, I gotta acknowledge it's hilarious how many of y'all are in here already, just based off of the title of this stream. Usually it takes like a little bit of a slower build for my numbers to build up a bit, but I've been live for 2 minutes and already like a handful of y'all are already here because I know y'all got excited for this idea. I'm making a rap song from scratch, y'all. Sorry, I don't know what just happened. I accidentally just changed the scenes. I'm making a rap song from scratch. Because here's the thing. I also got to open up. Hold on. Because now I got to open up Google Docs and stuff. I got to open up Google Docs. Because here's the thing, right? The other day at work, I told Roger a bar. Because I was thinking about it. At the gym, 7 in the morning. And I was like, you know what, that might be a bar. I don't know. Maybe I write a rap. I don't know. And I shared it with Roger, and Roger looked at me. He was like, oh, that shit's trash, right? In the bar. And here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to do. Because admittedly, out of context, without a surrounding foundation of an entire verse around it, the bar might not be as impressive. But Roger didn't see my vision, all right? Here's the bar. I didn't write it down yet. I'm going to write it down as I say it. I'm gonna write it down as I say it, right? And you guys might not catch on to it at first, but once we make the full thing, you guys are gonna understand where I'm coming from, all right? So the bar is, and don't question it when I say it. The bar is, you know how hard Blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes, all right? That's the bar that me and Roger had. There was a fissure between me and Roger when I said that out loud. He got really mad. He got really upset about this. All right. Toast Nick in chat understands. You know how hard Blessing goes. They be running through my songs. Hold on. You think rappers write down their lyrics in Google Docs? They be running through my songs like pod episodes. I think I originally might have said, you know how raw Blessing goes, which I think flows off the tongue a bit better when I say, you know how raw Blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Now, here's the thing. I'm fucking building a whole song around this shit now. I've opened up FL Studio for the first time in maybe about 3 years. It's funny. When I opened it up, already it brought me to a project that I was working on. I think the last time I streamed, because I made this beat, I think sampling Genshin Impact. Can you all hear this? If I play this, I think y'all should be hearing this. This is a beat I made like years and years ago. Which shit's kind of hard, but also I'm not using this beat. I'm gonna make a beat from scratch. This is like a really simple beat I made, which kind of it kicks in during the hook. And again, this is sampling Genshin Impact. I need chat. This is what I want from you, chat. I want songs to sample. What do I sample? Because this is also going to double as a diss song for Roger as well. I should put that out there. Roger's getting dissed in this song I'm making. What's his favorite artist? Ooh, who is Roger's favorite artist? I know Roger loves like JPEG Mafia and shit like that. Oh yeah, Carolyn Polachek is up there. Anyway, this isn't the song, but it was funny. It was fun coming back to this and being like, oh shit, I forgot I made this. And so Roger definitely loves Frank Ocean, which I've been on a big Frank Ocean kick. So wait, Chad, are you saying I should sample Carolyn Polachek? Oh, that'd be actually kind of sick. But here's the thing, right? That would get me claimed. I can't do that on this stream because I want to upload this as a YouTube video, so I can't sample Carolyn Polachek. I was thinking more like video game shit that I could get away with. I also don't have to do a sample. I could also go God, I forget how I do this shit. All right, here we go. I could also just try to make my own thing from scratch. I don't have to sample a thing. Samples makes it easier on like the melody side to like find something catchy. But I could also just make a beat. Let's start with the drums. Maybe we come back to the sample. Let's start with the drums. It's been forever since I've done this, by the way. Oh, you know what? I always have, I think, Kick 09 in there as a layer. I always have Kick 09 in there. I have Boy Wonder packs, drum packs from Boy Wonder. Oh yeah, that's the one. I already know. Here, I'm so fucking locked in, chat. I already know the direction. I've been listening to a lot of clips lately, chat. I've been listening to a lot of clips lately, so I think I know the direction I want to go here. Oh, first of all, we got to bring this back down. We're going to, I think 90 BPM should be good. Hold on. I got to make sure this is the right the right BPM. You know how hard Blessing goes? They be running through my songs like pod episodes. That might be like slightly slow. Somebody said that sounds like Childish Gambino cul-de-sac era, which might that it might be obvious how much fucking Childish Gambino I listened to back in the day during that era. I think I like this BPM a bit better. Let's just bring that up to 100. You know how hard Blessing goes? They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Yeah, 100 BPM is where it's at. I think that's where that's going to be. It's 100 BPM. I think we're going to be 100 BPM, boys. That's got to be like the start, right? We'll come back around to that. Already, I like that hat. We're starting off with the hi-hats. Chat, it's been so long since I made a song. Can I sing? No, I cannot sing. I can only rap. But we can figure out shit with rap. Hold on. SSJ Piccolo says, Bless, can you play Sonic Adventure 1? I'll pay you to play Sonic Adventure 1. Someday I'll play Sonic Adventure 1. I've always wanted to play through all the way through Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Just because I know that's gaming history. You know, that's like me. Like, for me to be a Sonic fan and not having played Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, it's like me saying I'm a Christian and I've not read the book of Matthew. You know? It's like, I have no idea what happened when Jesus arrived. I skipped that part. What if I say it? Because I know he does like Shadow the Hedgehog. But I don't feel like there's like any easy sample from Shadow the Hedgehog. Also, I'm not going to rap over Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's the one. Hold on. I'm not going to get claimed. It's funny. So chat, for context, this drum pack I'm working with, this sound kit, is Boy Wonder. Boy Wonder produced Best I Ever Had. So he has the samples here from Best I Ever Had in here, which is really cool. Right? Like, it's really cool that he included that in the drum kit. I've had this sound kit for over a decade. I've been working off of these same sound kits for over a decade. So I have this Boy Wonder one. I have a few other ones, but this Boy Wonder one comes with so many drums. It has so many drums in it. Well, Boy Wonder, I have, let's see, Lex Luger, who, if you listen to rap in 2009, you might be familiar with Lex Luger. He had like a lot of trappy type beats. I have Johnny Giuliano, Ninth Wonder as well. Ninth Wonder has some like really good boom bap drums. Can you just do a cover of Best I Ever Had? No, I'm not doing that. Again, I'm trying to find something I can get away with online. Okay, I need a sample. Here's what I was thinking. Let me see if I can pull it up. There was a song, I was listening to this earlier today. And this isn't like anything related to Roger. This is just me and my own taste and the kind of beat I want to make. Fuck, what was it called? It was a song from Nier Automata. I'm going to type in Nier Automata OST and hope it comes up. I think it was Voice of No Return, actually. It's like a sadder, I say sad even though the lyrics are a made up language, but like it's more of a slow down, more contemplative. Oh, this is the instrumental version. Let me see if this is the one. I was thinking I could like maybe chop this up. It'd be challenging. I like how Krabby Patty says just use Guile's theme. Krabby Patty, you're on a different wavelength than I am as far as like the vibe. I'm trying to find something that's like vocals that I can chop up into like like a soul sample type thing. Hold on, let's just make some drum patterns for now. Man, I gotta remember the buttons. Here we go. No, we're not doing those ones. Oh, I need a better kick. Hold on. I like these because they have some texture to them. There's some texture there too that I like. Like if I layer all those together, I kind of like how that comes together. Actually, before we move on, I'm also gonna start from snare so that can kind of center me. There we go. What it is, I've just been listening to so much clips. I think that's really influencing the kind of beat that I want to make here. Krabby Patty, this is FL Studio. Let me make sure this flows with with the bar that I'm required. Again, if you're just joining, the task right now, chat, is to create a whole song based off of these two lines. You know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes. You know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes. You know how hard blessing goes. Hey, Big Bad. It is a free version, or not a free version. Sorry, it's a legal version because they offer a free version of FL Studio. That's what I'm working off of. This sounds so cheap, but we're gonna get there. Somebody says decrease BPM. I don't know if that's gonna flow with what I'm going for here with the bar. But you're right, it does sound fast. Like, let's go to 90. Let's go standard 90. And if we need to speed it up, we'll speed it up. I think slowing it down did help a little bit. Two, three, four. We'll keep that for now to center us. We'll come back around to edit it. forget what this knob does. Is this the swing? Chat, if anybody knows how to use FL Studio, remind me what this knob here does, if that's the swing. What else do I have here? Mom forever used FL Studio since 2005. Yeah, it sounds so dry right now, but we'll get here. I mean, that kind of goes if we're going for just a drum beat, but we're not going for just a drum beat. We're going to find a sample. I don't beat games. Are you trying to do the song all in one stream? Yes. That's the goal. We're putting together an entire fucking song in this one stream. And we might speedrun this shit, because it actually takes a while to put out to make a whole song. But we're fucking doing it. Hold on. Okay. We're finding a sample. Fuck it. We're finding a sample. I got another window I'm opening here. What's that one website I like? Is it KH Insider? It is KH Insider. Hold on. Chat, there's this website, right? If you're ever looking for video game soundtracks, KH Insider is where you need to go. What's popular? What's top 100? What top 1,000 of all time? P5. I'm not. There's some good Minecraft music, honestly. I could go DK. There's definitely some good Earthbound shit. I've tried making an Earthbound song before. It didn't go that well, though. Pokemon has some good music. Could do some Souls shit. I've already done a Last of Us song before. In fact, you've heard it in the intro if you've listened to my intro to my streams before. I mean, DK has some really good shit, especially Forced Interlude. Like, this is Forced Interlude, chat. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Somebody says the GoldenEye theme. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea to do GoldenEye. It's not a bad idea. If I'm trying to do something, like, hard. Hold on. We can... It might be chaotic. There's actually too much going on there. You need to do the pause music as the main beat. The pause music is already a beat, though. That's the tough thing. The pause music already goes hard. Also, is that the mission? No, mission dossier is like the menu before you get into the... What's the song? Which song is the pause music? I think it's this one. That's already a beat. Like, I can't turn that into a beat. Like, there's nothing I can do to make that better. If anything, I will make it worse. If I go back to that mission dossier theme, though. This already has, like, a lot going on. I don't know if I could actually, like, do anything with it. The drums are too... Krabby Patty, I don't think you understand what's going on here. I'm making a whole song for Roger, Krabby Patty. I'm not just gonna rap over the pause thing. I don't know if this is the move. I don't know if that's the one. I don't know if that's the one. We're getting there though. We're getting there. I think my preferred, right? My preference is something that's like mostly piano or strings or vocal. You know what I mean? Like I want no drums. Cuz it's easier for me to add like hip hop drums over something that doesn't have a lot going on drum wise. That's the problem with the GoldenEye stuff, is that they have like like it's actually pretty active as far as what's going on drums wise. Hollow Knight though. What's going on with the Hollow Knight soundtrack? Hold on. Somebody sent a YouTube link. I don't beat games. Says, could you sample this? Hold on, let's open it. What is this? Oh, aquatic ambience. I've already done aquatic ambience in the past. I guess granted, it's been a while. That was like a decade ago. Maybe I run it back. If I do aquatic ambience though, I'd like to do the OG version. I wouldn't want to take somebody else's version and then do that. Funny enough, I've done Dearly Beloved before. Dearly Beloved. I've done it before. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. What's funny, I don't beat games. In 2016, Kanye West released Life of Pablo, and he had a song called I Miss the Old Kanye, and I made a hip hop beat out of Dearly Beloved, and then I put over it I Miss the Old Kanye. I'd play it, but like that song got taken off of YouTube, got hard claimed off of YouTube. I also don't think I have access to like my original remix. It's on an old laptop somewhere. But yes, I have remixed Dearly Beloved before. All right, let's continue to browse. JRPGs though have like a lot of what I look for as far as like good sampleable music. I mean, Roger also does love Fortnite. No. No. Let's see. Cameron Ken, please don't rap over a Fortnite beat. All right, let's hop into some old reliables then. What's going on in Kingdom Hearts? I also I did remix Kyrie as well. I do have a remix of that. It's too much. I can't find it in there. What have I done recently? Is there anything that I didn't finish? Chat, we're about to go back in time to see what are the beats that we're gonna save this. Roger Dis. We'll just do Roger Dis. I'm gonna dig back into the beats I tried to make. Oh, never mind. We're not doing that one. This one is like I try to make a mashup. Chat, once upon a time during the pandemic where I had nothing better to do, I tried to create a Kanye West cross Final Fantasy VII mixtape because I was bored. Which one is this? The fuck is this? Oh, I tried to do an On It song that I ended up hating. I tried to remix On It from Earthbound into like a lo-fi beat, but it never came together. It sounded too off-key. But I liked so much about this, but I couldn't make it work. Like, you can see the vision. It was like my first time ever trying to make like a totally lo-fi beat. Maybe I should go back to this. Like, you can see where the vision is, but you can also kind of tell where it's off in quite a few places. I couldn't make it work. Apparently I did a Sonic thing. Which one was this? Oh, I know which one this is. This might be the one, chat. Hold on, I might just rap over this. It is Halloweeny. I forgot I did this. To be fair, here's the thing. This goes hard, but also all the heavy lifting is being done by the actual song. The actual mythic, what was this called? Mystic, I think Mystic Cave is what this is. I forget which Sonic this is even from, but like the actual song is fucking by itself goes hard. Like if I can, let me see if I can find the comparison. Mystic Cave. Well, let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Mystic Cave Zone. Which Sonic was this? Oh, this is Sonic 2. This is how the original sounds. So you can tell, like, I added the drums. I EQ'd it to sound a bit more. But like the original song does so much. Actually, now that I'm listening to the original, I guess I did do quite a bit because yeah, I think the EQing really changes it. Fuck it, I might just do this. The only problem is, does this match up with the bar? Will the bar actually fit in this BPM? You know how hard Blessing goes? They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Yeah, no, that could work. That could work. Chat, we just gotta write a rap now. I had some ideas for bars. I had some ideas for bars. I gotta turn this down. Hold on. We gotta do a lot of adjusting of my audio levels so I can make this work. Because we're just gonna play this in the background. But we're gonna play this on a lower volume. At least for me. Alright, I turned it down a lot on my side. I don't know if that turns it down on your side. It doesn't. So I'm gonna turn this down a bit on your side. So, an idea I had was in order to make this line really hit, they be running through my songs like pod episodes. I think I would have to frame the whole verse. Like this would have to be the closing line, and I would have to frame the verse around referencing different podcasts. And so the idea was I was going to open up with, what the fuck was the line? It was a Joe Budden line. Because the Joe Budden podcast, I was going to say they button up against me like I'm the average Joe. Does that fit the bar? Hold on. They button up. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. I don't think that's going to fit. The beat totally changes the vibe. Because now I want to rap about Sonic, chat. Chad, this is what I need from you. I need you to start listing out names of podcasts. All right? There's Game Scoop. I'm not referencing Joe Rogan. We're not doing that shit. Game Scoop. There's fucking Pew Pew Bang with Janet. There's fucking Min Max. There's Easy Allies. There's if I'm doing like outside of video game podcasts. Although the video game podcast would keep it in theme with the whole Sonic thing. Not you, Mr. Hawks. All right? Enough with the plugin. Weekly Planet. Bombcast. Mr. Hawks, you said gaming podcast. Oh, we gotta turn this back up. You gotta really feel it. Yeah, the problem is a lot of podcasts end with the word cast. Dissect your pod. you like frog and chemistry? I don't know about that. Damn, it's tough to think of beats over this. I feel like, or it's hard to think of bars over this. It's like it's so chaotic and kind of like. It's weird. I want to say fast paced, even though it's at the 95 BPM range, and so theoretically it'd be at the same fucking. I guess pace. What was Roger's podcast he and his friend did when he was like 15? Or was that Barrett? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, I forget what it was called. I know what you're talking about, Cameron Kennedy. Wasn't yours OK Beast? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't 15, but like, yeah, his Raj former podcast. I know which one you're fucking talking about. I know which one you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it. All right, let's play this. Let's press play on this again. I do like Bombcast. I feel like we can fit in Bombcast in here. Snap aim actually would go hard because then we can get into gun bars. Mention that as a bar that you don't even know is pot. Ooh. Roger think he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Hold on. Roger thinks he's getting big. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Okay, we're cooking now. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even know your podcast name. I gotta make sure I hit that. I gotta make sure I hit that. Roger thinks he's getting big. Hold on. Right? Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even know your podcast name. That has to be like at the end of a 4-bar sequence. There's French per second. Is literally a Roger diss track. Is turning into a Roger diss track. I was gonna have a few disses for Roger, but now I think the whole thing is gonna be a Roger diss track. Do I start off with how I had to pull out the Sonic beat? How do I work that in? Cause then it's like, okay, if I pull in the Sonic beat thing, maybe I make a spin dash. Maybe I make a spin dash reference, spin dash punchline, spin the block and dash away. I had to spin the block and dash. Hold on. Had to pull the Sonic beat. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Let's write this down and it'll come together. Let's not beat the allegations. I had to pull in Roger to the Sonic beef because Roger also likes Sonic, so this works. Rihanna, how's it going? I'm making a diss beat to Roger. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Ooh, there's a rhyme in there somewhere. Had to spin the block and dash. Hit the... Oh, we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it, chat. Spin the block and dash. Oh, that's a hard one to rhyme. Sherbert Sunday, I've never believed so hard. No, that's not because here's the thing. Walnut Ship. Here's the thing, right? Chat, here's the thing. I got a respect for hip hop. I got a deep love for hip hop. If we're making rhymes, we got to rhyme multis. Everything, it's not about rhyming the last word, because I see y'all throwing out rhymes that like have the last word in there. No, we're rhyming the last four. That's why I'm holding on to the bar of, you know how Hard Blessing Goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes, right? Hard Blessing Goes, pod episodes. We're doing multis here, right? So when I say spin the block and dash, we got to rhyme that whole thing. We got to rhyme that whole thing. Spin the block and dash. Because we're doing the spin dash bar, right? Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Some, get the fucking cash. No, that's not it. Because we're not rapping about cash. We're rapping about Roger. Maybe we come back to it. Maybe we come back to that one. We can work off of the rhyme scheme of Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. We don't even know your podcast name. Something. You think you raw? That's lame. Ah. Oh, hold on. Maybe this is where I bring in Carolyn Polachek. Just because you influence Kojima, you think that's raw. You think you raw. That's lame. No, that's not it. Because that's actually pretty sick that he did that. See, I need to think of something that what's something that's going for the jugular. Okay, no, we're not. Okay, Chad, we're going to this. We're going too personal. We're going. Can't say his hair. No. But he has. See, that's the thing. Yeah, his mustache. No, I'm not trying to hurt his feelings, Chad. You know, this is a gentleman's rap battle. We're not. This isn't Drake and Kendrick. This isn't Drake and Kendrick. Ooh, his earrings. I can go after the fact that I had earrings first. Kojima not crediting him. Actually, that goes hard. See, and that there's something there with song and game, because we're going podcast fame, podcast name, song and game. You think that's raw? That's lame. Hold on, I'm typing these down. How long is the disc? Oh, we'll just go 16 bars. A nice little 16. Let's see. Roger thinks he's getting big on podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast fame just because you went and got that song. And, but that's not. If I mean, I could. Here's the thing. I could fudge it and be like, just because you went and got that song in game. Just because you went and get that song in game, but you're naming it in the credits, you ain't raw. That's lame. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Roger thinks he's getting big off. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even know your podcast name just because you went and got that song in game, but you ain't in the credits. You think that's raw? That's lame. That's not gonna flow though. And also, I'm missing some pieces of the puzzle there. But it rhymes, which is the most important thing. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even hold on. We gotta find the pocket. Chad. We gotta find the pocket. Roger thinks he's getting picked off of podcast fame. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even know your podcast name. I gotta deliver it like I mean it though, but we'll get there. Right now we're just trying to find the pocket. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame, homie. We don't even know your podcast name just because you went and got. Hold on. Okay, now we got to find the pocket for that second part. Just because you went and got that song in game. Let's start from the top of the floor. Just because you went and got that song in game. No, I don't think that's gonna fit in the pocket. Just because you went and got that song in game, but you ain't in the credit. Just because you went and got that song in game. Cadence, bless. I'm impressed if you figure this out live on Twitch. Listen, this is the creative process. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. That's an easier one to fit in, I think. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Okay, that's an easier one. That first line is the tougher one to fit in the pocket now. Just because you got that one song in game, I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Just because you got that one song. So, here's okay. Chat. Is there something here with pull a check? You can't pull it. you can't pull a check. You know what I mean? Because you ain't got your name in the credits. Chat. You can't pull a check. Oh, Roger's in for a rude awakening tomorrow, chat. Roger's in for a rude awakening when I fucking finish this song. Hold on. I'm just gonna write down. This is what I'm just gonna show y'all. I'm gonna just write down the first of all, I'm gonna increase the font size in this. Because why is the font size so small? Alright. I'm just gonna write down the words. Pull a check and pull a check. And we'll return to this. Alright. Let's play the music. I guess you guys can see the Google Doc. I might as well just leave that up, right? Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Just because you went and I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Okay, the only line that doesn't fit the pocket is not line number 3. If we can figure out line number 3, then we're cooking. Just because you went and got that song. We don't even know your podcast game. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song. Hold on. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. That might work. Hold on. And then couldn't pull a check. Couldn't pull a check. But we'll get there. That's how that next line is gonna start though. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Ah, damn it. Hold on. We're running that shit back. Run that shit back. We're gonna get it. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Went to Koji Pro to try. Oh, no, I already lost it. I already lost the pocket. I need to practice that second part. Fuck the first part. We know the first part. We gotta practice that second part. Went to Koji Pro to try. How did I already lose it? I already lost the pocket. Let's say it again. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. Went to Koji Pro to try. Why is it so long all of a sudden? Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. Went to Koji Pro to try and get the song in game. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. So I just got to get there earlier, which I don't know if that's going to fit, but that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Went to Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Okay. Oh, begging though. Hold on. Mr. Jack Kelly might have found something. Begging Koji Pro to try. Begging actually kind of goes fucking hard. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Okay, I think we found something. We'll try to hit that 4 now. We'll try to hit that 4 in the next go around. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Pro. We're getting there. Hold on. We're getting there. Run that shit back. Also, I'll just loop this part. I'm just going to loop this part. So let's loop the 4. So we'll loop that 4. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Oh, here we go. Once I rehearse that, chat. Once that gets rehearsed and that gets comfortable, chat. Roger, I'm coming for that. Roger, you better get them bars up, homie. Roger, you better get them bars up. Okay. And that's going to go into couldn't pull a check. This is going to be great when it comes together. Okay. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Oh my God. We're cooking. We're cooking. We're cooking. Okay, that's a 4-bar right there. That's a 4-bar right there. Blood Arms, welcome to the stream. Okay. Should we go back to Sonic Beat in the Tuck had a spin blocking dash? What's up, EJ? What's up, Emmett? Emmett Watkins Jr. in the chat. So back when they did Kind of Funny Prom, this is before I worked at Kind of Funny, I campaigned to become prom king. My campaign was built around diss songs, and one of my diss songs was, I think 2 of my diss songs actually, because I think it did 2. They were aimed at Emmett. Fun fact: I went all the way after Emmett. So like Emmett, I'm sure Emmett right here, right now, is getting them flashbacks. Emmett's like, ah, shit, here we go again. You know Roger's lurking and sobbing right now. I told Roger to put on the Twitch notifications. All right, we'll do one more practice run. All right. Go home, Roger's great. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Becking Koji Pro I came in slow. I gotta come in fast on that one. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Becking Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw, that's lame. All right. Couldn't pull a check. Oh, see, this one we got to sit on a little bit. We got to marinate a little bit on this one. Couldn't pull a check. Too busy. Is it like couldn't pull a check? See, it has to be something pull, right? If I'm going to go off a pull, couldn't pull a check, what is he pulling, right? Is he pulling a Heist and Fantasy Critic? But that's too wordy. We can't fit that in there. Couldn't pull a check. But what is Roger pulling, chat? What is Roger pulling? Couldn't pull a check. Oh, or we can flip Carolyn. Couldn't pull a check. Couldn't pull a check. We don't care about your lines either. Ah, there's something there though. Hold on. We don't care about your lines? Did the Caroline pull a check? Hold on. There's something there. Hold on, chat. Couldn't pull a check. Couldn't pull a check, and we don't care about. Oh, couldn't pull a check, and we ain't caring about your lines. Couldn't pull a check, and we ain't caring about your lines. Couldn't pull a check, and we ain't. Couldn't pull a check, and we ain't caring about your lines. Couldn't pull a check, and we ain't. Couldn't pull a check, and we ain't caring about your lines. Everybody in chat is saying just stalks him. Just stalks him. Roger's full address is... No, JK, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. See, now what rhymes with caring about your lines? Airing out your... No. See, my brain also wants to go to hairlines, but that's not going to rhyme well. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Chat, this is what I'm going to say. Chat, this is what I'm going to say. This bar, the couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines, is never going to be as appreciated as it should be. Like, low-key, that might be bar of the song, but y'all ain't hearing me, though. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Oh. Staring at your staring at your dimes, if that doesn't make sense. Staring at... It's hilarious that like it just flashed my computer background, which also has Sonic in it. God, I'm so fucking on brand. I'm so fucking on brand. Couldn't pull a check and we care about your lives. Oh. Staring. Okay. Maybe this is one we come back to. As far as the finding the rhyme scheme with caring about your lines. Because eventually we had to end this on, you know, a hard blessing goes. They be running through my lines like pod episodes, which already we've ruined the scheme. Because the scheme was supposed to be about podcasts. And somehow we've gotten into dissing Roger's Kojima situation. Let's play the beat. Let's just play the beat. Chad, this is what I'm running into, right? This is what I'm running into. I have too much respect for Roger because I keep thinking of like, oh, what if I make fun of this? What if I make fun of that? But the problem is I respect him too much. Right now, what I'm landing on is staring all the time, like, but that doesn't make sense unless I talk about his like style. I could say like, you think your fits are better, but you staring all the time. But that's not great. That's not a good bar. That's not good. Talk about his cold food. Does Roger have cold? Oh, you're talking about for that one show that he did. All right, we'll come back to that. What about with? Okay, I guess the other rhyme schemes is the other rhyme schemes are, you know how Hard Blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. We also have Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to spin the block and dash. I still need something for spin the block and dash. Pocket cash? Ugh. How am I gonna loop that in? Sonic. I mean, I could do a Sonic thing. Sonic. Ooh, is there something there with like Sonic Smash? Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to spin the block and dash. Dash. Nerdy beat coming at you, about to make a Sonic Smash. I don't like that. Some comic stash. Stash is comical. Montfrere about to have you sky high like he's smoking hash. No, nah, that's not it. Guys, I'm not gonna call his stash goofy. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that because he has a nice mustache. See, this is the problem with diss tracks, is that in order to make a good diss track, you have to actually hate the person. That's why Kendrick was so fucking good at what he did. About to fry Roger, bald and stat. Guys, just turn this into a compliment battle. It could be the thing, because I think there was something there with Sonic Smash. Since we're rapping over a Sonic beat, right? Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Actually, hold on. That actually might be it. Unfortunately. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about... Cut down those syllables. I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. And then the next lines start with the word bros, like a Smash Bros, right? Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bros think, nah, we're not doing that. Actually, let's mess around with it. We got nothing to lose. We can always hit the delete button. Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to make a... Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Average John, what do you mean? Average John just types in sucking toes. Oh, a Dragon Yakuza reference would be sick. Ichiban. Kiryu. Just start naming characters. Sonic Beat in the Tuck had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. I feel like the next rhyme is like a dragon, right? I'm like a dragon. I can tell you lost all that weight, man. I can see the pants be sagging. Like I feel like there's something there. I feel like there's something there. Like boom, 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 like a dragon. I know you lost. Actually, I feel even though it's a compliment, I don't feel comfortable about like making fun of his weight, even though I'm complimenting him on losing weight. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the pants sagging line would be a good line, but I don't want to make it come off like I'm actually making fun of him. Because it really would be me being like, no, you look good, you lost all that weight, but I don't want to do that. I could just I could imply that his pants be sagging even regardless of the weight stuff, right? Outside of I could be like, you know, why don't you buy a belt? I'd be seeing I can see those pants are sagging or something like that. It's the tone that makes it wrong. It's funny because I think I could say it in a way that'll be fine. It's just as I started typing it, I was like, I don't like it. As I started typing it, seeing on the paper, I was like, no. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro thinks he's cold. This is a bad bar, but I'm gonna write it down. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Like a dragon. I'll kill you like Kiryu. Homie, bro, you know I'm tapped in. Like, hold on. No, I'm not gonna write that. I'm not gonna write I'll kill you. Kiryu doesn't kill? Wait, really? Does Kiryu not kill in those games? Is he like Batman? So then I had to do like either an Ichiban bar. What are some Like a Dragon? Ooh, who's the Like a Dragon character with the eye patch, chat? Kiryu famously doesn't kill? That's crazy. Goro. Majima. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. I'm Majima and... Wait, hold on. I'm Kiryu. I don't kill, but I... Oh, hold on. Bro thinks he's cold. I spit fire like a cat, like a dragon. I'm like Kiryu. I'm like... Oh, that doesn't roll off the tongue. What's Kiryu's full name again, chat? What's Kiryu's full name? Kazuma? Oh, that doesn't fit either. I can't fit. I do like the Kiryu. Somebody in chat mentions Kiryu. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. I Kiryu. What if I say I'll Majima your ass? That doesn't sound threatening. Especially coming from me. I mean, Krabby Patty might be cooking. The Kazama. All right, we'll come back to it. Hold on, let's play the beat. Because right now, what we got? Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Like a madman. We're getting there. At least it flows well enough. I can make that flow. Hold on. Sonic. Oh wait. Fuck. That's hard to hit with the thing. In the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. I might have to redo the intro because the intro with the DJ scratches kind of fucks it up. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Something. Roger thinks he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check, and we know you can. I would have to practice these. The tough thing, I'm not going to get to record this on this stream. I'm not going to finish this verse and record this on stream because I need to practice these bars. I actually needed to practice these bars because they all have like, all these bars have like a specific cadence to them that switch up. And so I wouldn't be able to get this all in one go. right? Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Add in. Roger thinks he's getting big. Roger thinks he's getting big off of podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits. That ain't raw. That's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. There's something that's all the time here. There's something here that's all the time. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Something all the time. And but like it has to be like Aaron, you know what I mean? Like Karen all the time, Farron all the time. You would Karen all the time. Ooh, calling him a Karen actually. That'll cut deep. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Actually, hold on. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Oh, what's something that Roger does? You dressing like a Karen all the time. That's it. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Try to step up the fashion. No, that's too long. Because I wanted to say you try to step up your fashion, but you're dressing like a Karen all the time. He goes Karen when he's getting his money back from DoorDash. Maybe there's something there. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. We ain't caring about your lines. We know you care so much. We know you care so much. You dress like a Karen all the time. No, that's not it either. Ooh, Fantasy Critic could be where we get the Karen thing is because they kind of the Fantasy Critic Karens if you think about it. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. In Fantasy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. That doesn't roll off the tongue. We need to mention getting smacked. Got smacked on the plane. Got smacked on the plane. What was he playing? Was he playing Hollow Knight? He was playing Hollow Knight, right? Got smacked on the plane. So I wrote you a Silk song. Hold on. This is now entering Disney Channel diss track territory. This is entered Disney Channel fucking got smacked on the plane so I wrote you a Silk song. I don't even think there's a word that rhymes with Silk song. Oh, what rhymes with Silk song? Yeah, we need more than wrong, guys. I don't rhyme just the last syllable. I do multis here, right? I need silk, something rhymes with silk and song, right? Milk bong is like on the right, kind of trajectory. Quilt on, like a hill on, like like you gotta find the multis in it. This ain't no amateur rap. This is fucking Disney Channel level at least. This ain't amateur. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fantasy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. There's no way that line's sticking, by the way. That line does not roll off the tongue. Unless I run it together. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fantasy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Got smacked on the plane so I wrote you a Silk song. That doesn't even roll off the tongue. All right, let's come back to that. Let's go back to bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. But I spit fire like a dragon. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. I played Yakuza. I played Yakuza, and now I feel. No, that's not it. That doesn't make sense. That's just not a bar. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. I feel like Kiryu. Now I feel like Kiryu. I feel like Kiryu and I feel like Kiryu. Sonic beat in the tuck had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro thinks he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. I feel like Kiryu. I feel inspired to drag him. I feel like Kiryu. Now I feel inspired to drag him. We're gonna find it. Oh, said I couldn't rap. Now I'm ooh. That's more authentic. That's more authentic to the situation. Said I couldn't rap. Where's my capital? There we go. Said I couldn't rap. Now I feel inspired to drag him. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I feel inspired. Oh, hold on, this is messy. I gotta find the cadence there. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and let's play just the metronome. How do I mute everything? There we go. Let's just play the metronome. I need to turn it up on my side too. Give me a second, chat. Okay. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I feel inspired. No, that doesn't roll off the tongue. Said I couldn't rap, now I feel inspired to drag him. No. Said I couldn't rap. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. If I could drag it out like that. If I drag it out like that, I can force it to work. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't care. Oh, okay, that's a switch up. Hold on. We're gonna take it for the top, chat. We're almost there. Okay. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't. I gotta pause. I'm gonna do like a boom. To signify like there's a quick pause there. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And fancy critic acting like a Karen all the time. Got smacked on the plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. Okay, I'll come back around to that. All right. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic Smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Right? Somebody said hold on. He's starting to sound like College Dropout. Yay is hilarious, by the way. Because I see exactly what you're talking about. Okay, let's take a swig of water. Okay. Lock in. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Got smacked on the plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. Okay. We're almost there. Got smacked on the plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. Oh, what rhymes with that? I could do. I wrote you a Silk song. Wrote you a Silk song because I heard. Wrote you a Silk song because you got smacked on the plane, because that's an easier rhyme to do. Wrote you a Silk song because you got smacked on the plane. Got smacked on the plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. Let's play the beat. Smacked on the plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. Heard you ain't beat the game. Man. Is he gonna I'm actually you and say he wasn't playing Silk Song at the time? We're looking too much into it. He was playing Hollow Knight. It's a Hollow Knight reference. You can't read too much into the bars. And we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Smacked on the planes. Yeah, I gotta change it. Because I don't think I can find anything that rhymes with Silk Song like that. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane, so I wrote you a Silk song. So you can recover from the pain. I don't know if that rolls off the tongue. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that. I'm saying time too much. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane, so I wrote you a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. That's too wordy. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. I wrote you a Silk song. Start with the row. Wrote you a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Heard about when you got smacked on a plane. Heard about when you got smacked on a plane. Wrote you a Silk song. Here's a Silk song. Hold on. We're just removing more and more words. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. That rolls off the tongue way better. Okay. Man, now I see why Mega Man does, or Mega Man. Now I see why Mega Ran does this with like the video game stuff, because it's fun to make video game bars, guys. Video game bars are fun. Oh, heal would be quicker. Here's a Silk song, so now I don't need to save on words. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. I need just the metronome. Yeah, now I need the syllables from the word recover. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about when you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. So, okay. 2 bars left. Maybe this is where I fit in the pod references. This is where I fit in the pod references. Because I have 2 bars here that I can fit in the pod references. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Oh, where do I go? Do I reference? I'm not gonna reference Pew Pew Bang because the only way to reference Pew Pew Bang, the podcast chat, is if I make the sound effects. I'm not gonna do that. Pew Pew Bang, get a slap from my hand. No, we're not doing that. I'm not DMX. Let's take it from the top and see what we can do. All right, we'll just do metro. We'll do metronome and then we'll do beat. Okay. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger thinks he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about when you got... Oh, I lost it. Heard about when you got smacked on a plane. Fuck, what was the cadence? Okay, first of all, there's a few things to do here. First of all, Roger thinks he's getting big off podcast fame. I can get rid of this. Big off podcast fame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about when you got smacked on a plane. Did I remove syllables? Krabby Patty just says, heard you got smacked. No, the problem is I don't have enough syllables. I need more syllables. Heard about when you got smacked on the plane. What was the cadence? Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. That's better. Heard about that time. Yeah, that's it. Couldn't pull a check, we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. I must have removed time. But now I'm saying time a lot. But it's fine. It's whatever. All right. Let's do one more. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Okay, now let's do it with the beat. Hold on, we need water. Okay, lock in, everybody. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Oh, let's fucking go, chat. Let's fucking go. Thank you so much for the raid, Co-op 64. You came in at the perfect time. We're rapping. We're making a diss track to the one and only Roger McCorney because he was making fun of my bars. Whew. I need to take a breath. My delivery, I think, was kind of off. My delivery, I think, was a little bit off in certain places, but like, I think we're crystallizing. I think we're getting there. Let me take a breather. All right. Let's take a breath in. Release. We just need to polish it a little bit, but I think we're getting there. And we just need one more line. We need the podcast bars to really complete this. You ever thought about putting on a rapper voice? I mean, when I record this, yes. When I record this, we're gonna put on, like, I'm gonna give more of a rapper delivery. Right now, I'm trying to get it, and then also trying to ease into it because I gotta rap in my natural voice. Like, spoiler alert, I'm not a rapper, and so like I feel like my voice isn't as natural to rap, but like, you know, I try to meet in the middle where I can. All right. What bars did he diss exactly? He dissed these last two bars. I told him I was hanging out with him before a stream, before kind of funny happy hour, and I told Roger, we were just talking. I was like, I thought of two bars that I thought went kind of hard, right? And it's, you know how hard Blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. I said that to him, and he was like, that shit's whack. And so I went, I'll show you, and then fucking yeah. Now here we are making a whole song. We're making a whole song. But because of this line, we gotta close out on pod references so that this last line can actually be a bar. The cauliflower shower in chat says Roger's whack. We know this. Roger is whack. We don't see Roger streaming himself making a diss track towards me. Think about that. Okay. Let's run this shit back. Let's do it to a different part of the song. Let's do it to the different part of the beat. Let's see if any of these other parts of the beat works well. Hold on. All right, let's go. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that. Oh, I already messed it up. I messed up the cadence. Hold on, run that shit back. Run that shit back. Let's do a practice run. I feel like earlier on in the stream, I feel like I had the delivery a bit better. And I think now I've gotten into my head a little bit about the delivery. I think because the beat's playing in the background. All right. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Okay. Now let's do that with music. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Sonic. Damn it. Fuck. Run that shit back. Waste no time. Sonic beat. Hold on. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. He said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Oh, chat, you wanna see something? So I know we're talking about my history as a rapper, or my non-history as a rapper. This is bringing me back to, I used to do a lot of spoken word. One, I used to write raps a lot, actually, back when I was in high school, because we all wrote raps when we were in high school. When I got to college, that then shifted into spoken word poetry. So I did a lot of writing then, a lot of writing spoken word poetry, but I ended up on a rap album, a Christian rap album. That's good, SJ Piccolo. I ended up on a Christian rap album because I was going to church at the time, and there was a rap group at the church called Hostile Gospel. All right. Let me play you, because this is bringing me back to when they made me record. I did the intro to their album. They made me record it like a million times. And this is bringing me back. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. This Hostile Gospel song. This is you getting a little bit of Bless history. Is this it? A hostile takeover. No, that's not it. This must have been 2013. That's what it is. Here we go. Here we go.
Desperation. Have you ever been desperate? Like
this takes me back. This was, how old am I? I'm 31. I must have been 18 years old then. Also, I should preface this with, I've changed a lot since I recorded this, chat. I changed a lot since recording this, just so you know. I don't go to church as often, if at all.
Desperation. Have you ever been desperate? Like holding your breath underwater and wanting God like that gasp of air. I'm talking desperation for restoration. I'm longing for the breath of life like respiration. Innovation to praise until our expiration. We crave him. I'm saying this is desperation. I'm out of control. My soul with droves of demons in it.
This kind of went hard though.
It's not authentic like a faux fur. This world drive me crazy wild like the chauffeur.
Fucking Kanye really had you in a chokehold, huh? Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Kanye had me in a chokehold for sure. When you want to talk about it, was Kanye, Lupe Fiasco, Common, Childish Gambino. If you want to know my inspirations. Oh, of course I listened to Lecrae. Lecrae was like, that was like vanilla to me. I was listening to Andy Mineo. I was listening to Social Club. I was listening to so many Christian Swoop. People don't know about Swoop. Swoop was a Christian rapper I used to listen to back in the day. Low key, maybe one of the best lyricists of all time. And people don't really know about Swoop. I'm not originally from the Bay Area. I'm from the Midwest. But like people don't know about Swoop. Swoop is like crazy. Akidas says Swoop is crazy. Are you saying like the name Swoop is crazy, or wait, hold on? You saw Swoop perform one time? Because that actually makes me jealous. Swoop was like top tier MC. He was like, he was a Christian version of like Kanye meets Lupe Fiasco. When you want to talk about like the layers of like his album making, but then also he would make like these concepts that were really smart, and then also his lyricism was super layered and shit. Swoop went super hard. People don't know about it. Hold on, let me see if I can find a Swoop song. You guys don't understand. This is now gonna be turned into a Christian hip hop with blessing stream. We'll see if this ends up on YouTube, because this might get claimed if I play enough music. Emmett, bless your heart. I'm gonna play just one. I'm gonna find one Swoop song. But the question is which one? Actually, you know what? I know what verse I'm gonna play. It's actually not from one of his albums. He did a group project called We Live as Kings. And he had in his opening song on there, he had a verse that I thought went hard. Oh, if I can find it though. Okay, I think this is it. I don't know if it's a music video. I thought it is a music video. We're just gonna skip to Swoop's part, because this brother can spit. God bless this man. If you really want to know where I got my writing lyricism delivery from,
here for a reason, not a contingency. Was an empty seed, just a fetus formed with a Matt Damon chemistry. Till the Trinity's entity entered me with a reborn identity. Now I remember things, I'm a king instantly, cause I was bought with a lot of blood.
Also, I'm gonna pause this, cause after this, sorry, we're taking a very strong detour. I'm sorry, chat. I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this battle rapper named Street Hymns, who is a Christian battle rapper, which I know sounds insane already, but he was also a fucking nerd. So he would put in a lot of video game references and like a lot of nerdy references in his bars. If you ever seen the TikTok where the guy's like, what was it? When he was like, what I'm about to do to Bob, Doodle Bob, and he does like the mean honing, like the line from SpongeBob. If you ever seen that meme, that's Street Hymns. And I used to be obsessed with the dude, but he turned into a meme.
The boss got me fired up. Jeremiah up. Let's open the Bible up. Speaking of 29, leaping to 29:11. Look what his plans do to me. King lives inside of me, so what can?
Anyway, you get the gist. I used to fuck with this dude. Okay, hold on. I love that my search history already has street hymns in it. If I can find, dude, I want to find the street hymns meme. Hold on, I'm just gonna write battle rap doodle bob, so you guys can see the meme first, because it's gonna ruin him for you.
Cause if y'all ain't never heard a Christian rapper, I'm about to take it there. Cause when I'm about to doodle bob, me hoin yoin, me yoin, and erase this square.
Which, here's the thing, right? That it's hard to deliver that. It's hard to deliver that line in a battle rap context, but when you break it down, it is a bar. Erase the square, like that actually is a fucking bar. But yeah, no, that's it's hard to get that off.
Heard a Christian rapper, I'm about to take it there.
Because what I'm about to doodle bob,
me hoin yoin, me yoin, and erase this square.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Hold on. Okay, now let me actually see if I can find some of his good shit. I wish I favorited like some of his battles that he would do, because this shit was always fucking crazy. He had like a Smash Brothers bar. In fact, let me see if I can just type in Smash Bros. Damn, I don't think I can find it. There's too many battles now. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I'm sorry, chat. All right, let's get back to this. I'm wasting your time. Emmett says he just didn't need to make the sound. Honestly, he really shouldn't have made the sound. He really shouldn't have made the sound. If he just said the bar, it would have been fire. I think he wanted people to know the reference. I think maybe when he said Doodle Bob, he was like, people might not know what that is. So if I say me hoy, me yoy, me yoy, people will understand. But it just tanks the whole thing. All right, one more time. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rip, now I'm inspired to couldn't rip. Bless, what about your other songs? I didn't record a lot of songs. I had songs I recorded in high school that I made like I had a lot of songs I recorded in high school, actually, that none of them exist anymore. I couldn't find them if I wanted to. I had my own version of, what's that song by B.O.B., The Beautiful Girls All Over the World? Nothing on You. I wrote a remix to Nothing on You. I wrote a freestyle verse over King Leon by Drake. And I wrote a Flashing Lights remix. Had them all recorded, uploaded, and then once I started to get a little bit older, I was like, I cannot allow these to exist on the internet because these are the worst things that exist to me ever. These are fucking bad. And so, except for the Nothing on You. My Nothing on You remix was actually pretty fire. I wish I still had access to it. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fancy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Okay. Man, I'm out of breath. So we just need 2 more bars that lead into, you know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my song. No. You know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes. That's how I do it. Okay. So, how do I get in there? I need a pod. I can do the button against me like I'm the average Joe, like a Joe Budden reference. Button against me like I'm the average Joe. butting against me like I'm the average Joe. I can say something about like being on the average show, or like you're the average show. No, that doesn't make sense. If I say like, because I would say like KHD, like, excuse me, like Games Daily at 10, you're just an average show. No, that doesn't, because it's not, because I want to say like you're average like every day, but that, I don't think that works. Butting against me like I'm the average Joe. They try to, no, I don't like it. I don't like calling myself, because now I feel like I'm calling myself the average Joe, which I don't like. Butting against you, but I don't think that works. I don't think that works. SJ Pickle says Roger's gonna return fire. You know that, right? I'll tell you right now, he's not. Roger isn't brave like I am. Roger wouldn't put himself out there on the internet rapping. Roger's not gonna return fire. If he does, he'll make like a fucking video. You know what I mean? He'll get Mike to do it for him, of him taking pictures of my desk again or whatever, recording my desk and being like, "Oh, throw away your Sonic plushie. I don't give a fuck about that plushie. Throw it away. I don't give a fuck." It'll be Mike doing all his bars. If Roger is Drake, Mike is Quentin Miller. All right, some of you will get that reference. If anything, yeah, use that anger less. Should I go back to the Joe button? All right, what if I'm doing a podcast bar, I could go Gamescast. I mean, Gamescast wouldn't be a bad place to go, especially if I'm referencing video games here, right? So here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. Your Gamescast stories do nothing to scare me. No. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. I'm gonna give you something to talk about on the Gamescast. I'm gonna give you something to talk about on the Gamescast. I don't know. I'm reading chat. I'm seeing what you guys are putting out there. I don't know if I like it, but I'm reading it. Let me put on the beat in the background for inspiration. No, that's too wordy. I don't think that works. Something daily. I think something daily, like the show before Gamescast. Like, lines are coming at your head like headlines. Lines at your head daily. Hold on. Lines at, like, does that make sense? Because these headlines are coming at your head. Does that make sense? Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. Is that doing too much? I would need it explained to me. Yeah, I think that's doing too much. 6 out of 10 likes it. Lines at your head daily. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. And I need one more thing to tie in the podcast. I feel like this could work. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. Because then hold on. I really want to say something about him being on the Lames cast, but it's too corny. I can't do it. Also, the lines out your head daily line might be too complicated. That might be too. I might be showing my lyricism too much. You know what I mean? I don't know if the streets are ready for that one. Use a silk song so you can recover from the pain. I'm ahead of you. No, that doesn't work. If I say I'm ahead of you, like the show. No, you got to do it now. Lines at your head daily, like I'm. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. You're a golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. And that's me giving up. If I do that line, hold on. Hold on. If I say, because this is me giving up. If I'm being honest, this is such a whack line. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. You're golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episode. Fuck, I already forgot how that line goes. You know how hard blessing. Fuck. You know how hard blessing goes. Okay, there it is. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. That's the cadence I want. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes, because that's the whole argument that me and Raj had. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. Your golem on the review. Your golem. Your golem. Your your golem on the. Your golem in reviews. You should. Nah, that line. Yeah, the golem line isn't gonna work. Your golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my song like pod episodes. You know how hard blessing goes. Yeah, no, that doesn't roll. That line's not gonna work on this beat. I gotta accept it. I have to just accept defeat on that line, I think, because it's such a specific cadence that's not gonna work on this beat. I can make it work in another verse. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my song like pod episodes. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. You're golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Oh, that's not gonna work. Also, I can just take out the UR. I can just say golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. That actually makes it a little bit better. Those should be the first two lines. If I do this, right? Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. If fancy critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a silk song so you can recover from the pain. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Lines at your head daily, like the show before Gamescast. Golem on the review scale. You should be on the Lames cast. I don't think that's gonna roll off the tongue, but let's try it. We'll just try the last 8 bars there. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And fancy critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a silk song so you can recover from the pain. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Lines at your head. Hold on, but I think you're right. I think you're right that I start with that line. I wanted the pod episodes thing to be the punchline of like, oh, he made these pod references, and now he's saying they be running through my songs like pod episodes. But maybe I use that as the lead-in, right? They be running through my songs like pod episodes, Gamescast. No, just because if I start listening to podcasts, that gets fucking corny too. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. I could continue that scheme though. If I wanted to continue that rhyme scheme, pod episodes. You You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. Oh no, I can't rhyme it. I can't. Damn. Because what I was gonna say, chat. What I was gonna do. I was gonna say. Because this is just rhyming episodes with episodes, so I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna say I'm raw like a mod from how, but I was gonna try and make it flow. You know what I mean? You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. I'm raw like a mod from the. Nah, that doesn't work. I can't rhyme episodes with episodes. Keep it going. I could keep that flow going, right? I could be like, you know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. If I'm raw, let them know that I'm all that they know. Ooh, hold on. Hold on. But I don't want to just say gibberish, because then I get into like saying just gibberish, right? If I'm raw, let them know that I'm all. Yeah, see, I want to keep with a. I want to say something from bars. Capitalize on the god. Goddamn. God of. Hold on. Oh, that was the end of it. Okay, there we go. I'll say like eventually it'll start over. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. And I'm raw. Let them know that I'm the god of the flow. And I'm raw. Let them know. I like. Here's the thing. I like the that in there. I know it's wordy, but I like the. And I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. Because if I leave that, and I'm raw, let them know I'm the god. I don't like the pause. I like the da 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 da. I think I like that better as a cadence than if I take out the that. Da 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 da, as opposed to da 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 da. And I'm raw, let them know I'm the god of the flow. And I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. I guess either way could work, but I prefer the extra, like, I don't know. The extra syllable in there. I have some ideas, but I don't want to, because I was gonna go with like an odd feature, because he loves odd feature, or at least he loved odd feature. So I was gonna go like, and I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You just odd like your feature. You're just odd like your future. Or I could say, in your... No, I'm not gonna call him odd. I feel like odd is a weird insult. Hey, you're odd. Actually, odd is a hilarious insult, now that I think about it. You ever call somebody odd? I'm throwing hands if somebody ever calls me odd. You know how hard blessing goes. They be running through my songs like pod episodes. And I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You're bizarre. That could rhyme, actually. And I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You're bizarre, and I'm raw, and I'm See, in here, we've already lost the podcast thing. Here's the thing. I'm tired. I don't know if I can keep going on this stream. I think I might have to call it for now. Because I'm fucking tired and my brain's starting to turn to mush a little bit. I don't think, realistically, I'm going to find the last line here to pull this thing all together. This is what I do. I'm going to try and close on a clean recording of what I have. I'm going to try and close on a clean recording. Now, which part of this beat do I go from? Do I go from the beginning of the beat? Or do I try to find one of these, like, middle parts? I do like this part of the song a lot. So maybe if I start so that hits halfway through. But that's like halfway through that build. So actually that won't work. So let's just start from the beginning. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Hold on. Let's do it again. I need to take a big breath. It's a quick start. All right. We ready? Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Okay, run it back. I didn't like my delivery anyway. I didn't like my delivery on that one. Let's try to I'm gonna try and reel back, but try to hit some of the flow. I feel like that's where some of the character can come in. I missed it. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And fancy critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on the plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. You know how hard blessing go. No, I fucked it. You know how hard blessing goes. I need to make sure I hit that. You know how hard blessing goes. They be like, wait, no. You know how hard blessing goes. That's what it is, right? So let me try and roll into it. Let's try to roll into it. You know how hard blessing goes, they recover from pain. You know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes, and I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You just odd, I'm the... Hold on. I'm calling him odd. You just odd, and you bald. No, I'm not gonna call him bald. What's wrong with that? Call him bald, old, and stupid. We just start personally attacking. We just stop rhyming. We just start fucking attacking him. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, but now I'm inspired to run that shit back. We're getting this clean, chat. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I'm inspired. Run it back. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, but I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And fancy critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. You know how hard blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes, and I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You just odd, my verse flawed, but it's the rawest you know. Let's fucking go! Chat, we fucking did it. It only took 30 tries, at least. Oh, I'm out of breath. Should I try to run it back one more time? Can I get a cleaner verse off of that? I want to run it back one more time. I think I was starting to feel it halfway through for a cleaner record. Also, how's the mixing? I don't know how it's coming off of. I'm going to turn it up slightly. I'm going to turn the beat up slightly for y'all. I know my voice comes in loud. All right. We're running that shit back. Sonic beat in the tuck, had to spin the block and dash. Since I know you like Shadow, I'm about to make a Sonic smash. Bro think he's cold, but I spit fire like a dragon. Said I couldn't rap, now I'm inspired to drag him. Roger think he's getting big off podcast fame. Homie, we don't even know your podcast name. Begging Koji Pro to try and get that song in game. I don't see you in the credits, that ain't raw, that's lame. Couldn't pull a check and we ain't caring about your lines. And Fantasy Critic acting like a Karen all the time. Heard about that time you got smacked on a plane. Here's a Silk song so you can recover from the pain. You know how hard Blessing goes, they be running through my songs like pod episodes. And I'm raw, let them know that I'm the god of the flow. You just odd, my verse flawed, but it's the rawest you know. That's the one. Chat, that's the take. It's over for Roger. We fucking did it. That's the one right there. We did it. Chat, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. All right. Save it. Print it. Ship it. We fucking did it. Oh, I'm still rapping. I'm still rapping. Chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this one. This has been a really fun stream.